welcome to Skimlecast Season 2, Episode 1.
We have the microphones figured out this season, so...
This is going to be the epic audio quality season. My name is Olli Salo. I'm one of the co-founders of Skimle. I used to be a consultant at McKinsey for 18 years and now joined Skimle October last year. So we're close to half year now on the startup adventure. And that's why we also decided to start Season 2 of Skimlecast. And with me in the studio is...
Henry Schild. Hello, I used to be a professor for 18 years and at the business school, and I'm also a co-founder, one of the co-founders at Skimle, and yes, very excited to have been now doing this full-time entrepreneurship for 5 months. Haven't seen a salary yet, but the company has been growing. And
I think we learned a new term yesterday. It was that a company can be ramen positive or ramen profitable. That was the word. That when you can kind of make the money that you get from the revenue, but not give yourself a salary.
Yeah,
so we are ramen profitable, but good ramen.
Yeah. And
yes,
fun.
And so we decided to begin Season 2 with a bit of a kind of an overview episode of what's the origin of Skimle, what does Skimle do, what is our vision for the future, and why don't we start with the origin story? So,
well, I'll tell it. So I've been interested in organizing knowledge qualitative analysis for a long time, and back in it was the end of 2024 actually. I ended up working in a project with the Finnish ministry, and they had this problem of mapping out topics and themes from a large body of documents. And they tried to do it with this retrieval augmented generation.
That was the hot thing a year ago.
Yeah, RAG. RAG, and which is essentially a search engine bolted on AI model. And they didn't succeed at all. And I was drawing on my qualitative research background, and I was thinking that we need to process these documents much more systematically. We need to categorize insights from them, and I built the first prototype. It was just 1 week, and it was a lot of work, a long weekend of working with these chatbot models and a bit of software, and they were really happy. They were like, okay, this is saving weeks of time for us, and nobody was doing that at the moment. And
yeah, I guess everyone was trying to tell the chatbot that, okay, analyze them systematically, analyze them following the Broad and Clark method, please. And of course, the chatbot doesn't really do anything differently; it just produces something more plausible, that maybe a qualitative analyst would do, unless you really then code it properly, which was the big innovation. Yeah.
And then we started talking.
Yeah, then we started to talk a lot, and then what I realized is that the problem of analyzing large sets of qualitative data, so where you have the consultation responses, or you have maybe done 20 management interviews as a consultant, or 100 customer interviews, or like this problem that you have a lot of individual documents or individual respondents, and as a knowledge worker, you need to find the common themes. It's a very common problem in a lot of knowledge work, and certainly as a consultant, I mean, that's what we do in most of our projects. We synthesize information from a large set of documents, and that got me excited because, hey, this is actually a very common problem. Seems that AI and large language models in particular don't really solve it automatically, but with them you can solve it, which was like, this is we get like a new engine, and now we just need to build the car or the harness or the tooling around it, and let's do it. That was the feeling, and then that's why in October I left my cushy corporate consulting job and decided to go all in on this with Henry.
Yeah. And there's also this excitement, at least for me, is that a lot of AI talk is about this loss of jobs and automation and stuff. But I think it's also, I firmly believe it's kind of remaking knowledge work. And with AI, we can, like, individuals can manage bigger bodies of knowledge, understand, in the ministry case, you get 120 filings from different stakeholders. You can actually take control that there are these like 12 key topics and what do different types of organizations say about each. But also the collaboration between knowledge workers is changing. So it's no longer that, you read half the reports, I read half the reports, we go into a meeting room and talk, but we can actually collaborate more effectively.
Yeah. And we recently published our first case study where a customer, Noren, is using Skimle. It's exactly those points that it's not that, hey, let's let go of our researchers. It's more, how do we spend more time working on the refinement of the analysis, problem solving, doing more interviews or spending more time with our clients and less time in back office managing transcriptions of, for many, even the fact that Skimle automatically takes any audio or video and translates that into a transcript. But then you have the transcripts in one place, and you can actually, from that one place, start to look at themes instead of individual, miles and miles of documents. So this themes, and then do the reporting and so on. So it's not to have less knowledge workers, it's to give them a power tool that they can actually spend, go deeper. We always say that with Skimle, you can do it 3 times faster. You get into the interesting part, so you can spend, that save time with, working on the insights. And that allows you to go, 2 times deeper into the material because the AI will, or the Skimle tool will look for all possible themes and all possible explanations. So all the segments, did men answer differently? Did women answer differently? Did all the so it will do all the detailing and to surface interesting things that then you can, as an expert, you can dig deeper into. And of course, the third selling point is, it's number one, it's faster to insights. Number 2, it allows you to go deeper. But number 3, it's also safe and user controllable and transparent and all of that. So it's not the black box that you send your document somewhere to a big cloud provider where they use it to train stuff and then you get the black box result back, but you actually have it fully in your control.
Yeah, and I guess for many consulting companies especially, it's you don't want to compete on price. You want to compete on the depth of analysis. And we were one customer they were kind of used to be often that the analysis is just that you already know kind of superficially what you want to say, and then you just pick from interviews the quotes and what Skimle accomplishes in this very limited time that you have, that you can actually just go beyond what struck you when you were doing the interview.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we start to discuss about qualitative analysis, first of all, the whole word qualitative analysis, I never really used it or learned it in consulting, but then with Henry discussed what's the method and what are the tools. And Henry showed, there's the legacy old world tools like NVivo and Atlas TI. And I was like, boy, that's thorough. Like in consulting, you have a couple of, you have maybe a week to go through your findings and make the report out of that. And you're never going to do manual coding of all of the documents thoroughly and categorization, all of them. You should, but you're never going to do it.
No.
Whereas in academia, they actually do it. And I was so surprised that you have this hundreds of pages of manuscript where every sentence has been coded. That here they talk about the expressions of emotion or processes and places, and like, okay, but can we bring that academic rigor to the business world? I mean, that's a big thing in my mind.
Yeah, and I also learned that actually a lot of lawyers do this type of, in a way, thematic analysis, but of course they don't call it that, and it's just the work of lawyers, right? Going through documents and picking up things,
and I think this speaks well to our if we look at kind of what are we struggling or thinking right now, is this whole question of kind of horizontal versus vertical in a way. Like, what is Skimle? Because when we started, it was the public sector consultation analysis. Now we knew from the start that that's only a very narrow slice of the user segments. And if you look today, I would say our 3 main segments are, number 1, academic users. We have a lot of universities. I'm not going to name names, but a lot of really big, well-known universities. Some are using Skimle as a teaching tool, even in their courses, or their researchers are using it as a kind of responsible AI tool for doing qualitative analysis. That's number one. Number two is consulting companies, where you're doing a due diligence or organizational interviews or any other set of materials that you have to quickly and rigorously form the synthesis. And number three big one is market research. We actually last week our fourth big market research kind of pilot customer demo in a kind of design partner. Plus we have a lot of individual users that come from market research companies, and then a focus group, transcripts, interviews, surveys now with the Skimle Ask tool, sending their own AI assisted surveys and so on. So those are the three big ones, but then every sector talks about them in slightly different ways. This whole point, is it an issue tree like we would say in consulting, or is it what is it called in academia?
The data structure.
Data structure, yeah. And so how on the website to kind of talk to different audiences, which then leads many to say that, hey, should you actually focus on these individual verticals? Should we talk about, academic Skimle and have that a separate thing and focus there? Or is it really a horizontal tool? And we think it's kind of a both. Like, and I actually went to the archives and started to look at how did Excel become so popular? Because now Excel has, I think, between 500 million and 1 billion users.
You went to the Microsoft archives in Redmond.
Yes, I opened I asked for the yeah. Yeah, I try to sound very academic in your presence always. Yes. That it's not just I Googled in the taxi.
ChatGPT, how did it start?
yeah. But the whole story of today they have 1 billion customers. Roughly.
Really?
Excel is big. Everyone, I bet our listeners, most of you would have Excel somewhere sitting as a little bubble. Of course, bundled in the office and so on. But that's clearly a horizontal tool. There is no Excel for financial analyst versus Excel for this and that. And of course, it's misused more than used. Probably I see so many text tables. Actually, it's text, but it's fitting in a cell and so. But the origin of Excel was actually really clearly positioning to certain use cases. This is something that you do a kind of financial projection with, or this is something that you can do. So very clear verticals, but then people start to realize that it's a very versatile tool, and we don't have 1 billion users yet, but and maybe never will. But I think the same idea of can we build a tool for knowledge workers?
Yeah. I think the advice we get from experienced entrepreneurs and people, the number one advice is focus on one. Who is your best customer? Focus on that thing and then just scale that up. But I think there's something philosophically trying to build a tool, and it's probably more it will stand the test of time more than automating the process of
yeah. And I think it's in a way you have to play both games.
Yeah.
So that's why we love to have our design partners, is that we get feedback of how does the tool work in a specific use case, and we have to be the best in every vertical. Right? Because we are, I think.
Sounds really focused.
Focus everywhere. No, but you have to win those verticals basically, and quite often why we win is that the existing kind of vertical oriented tools don't really do proper qualitative analysis. So they do dear ChatGPT, please summarize these documents, and if possible, don't hallucinate, please. That's kind of the prompt, and it doesn't really work, as we know. So that's why the vertical ones are struggling, and of course we then struggle with the integrations. We struggle to talk in the language of the customer. Is it data structure, issue tree? We have to figure out the vertical, but still the core is actually universal, and that outperforms if you only focus on a specific vertical.
Yeah. And I think now with the AI, we saw that Facebook was probably the first media that was aimed at everyone in the world, right? And Spotify is a media channel for everyone. That with AI you can actually probably now even more customize and personalize on the go, not just the vertical, but also the user and the company in question, the data set.
exactly. And I think this, yeah, if we briefly talk about the kind of Skimle features, I think the fact that we're seeing this advanced users across our customers, they always want to actually do it with their kind of their own agents and their own systems and kind of using MCP or the model context protocol, like because it's something that kind of fits their new workflow and it's kind of changing that much. And then of course then we have to support.
We need to do an episode on the emerging AI ecosystem. I think we are seeing writing tools with built-in AI that can connect to Skimle and pick quotes, illustrative quotes, or the section structure from the project. So that's one theme that's gonna come up.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Time to be alive, right?
Yeah.
with the tool changing. But should we briefly explain still kind of all the features we have in Skimle? 1 minute, go.
Yes. Okay. So the core Skimle, is the
Skimle, yes.
analytics platform, right? So what do we want to say about it? We have a bunch of different analyses, and new ones will be coming up. So we have things like you feed a bunch of interviews, and Skimle identifies what were the questions you asked the informants and what are the interests you had across all of those interviews. It picks the content, organizes it according to those kind of guiding questions, and then structures it into logical subcategories. So you just conduct your interviews and you just upload them and you get this hierarchical thematic structure, all the content you wanted to capture.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's the hardcore engine, I would say. And kind of what how we build around it, of course, is how do them bring in data to the engine, right?
Yeah,
so
transcribe.
Course, so upload any types of documents, so be they interviews or documents or statements or reports, or if it's in text, we ingest it. If it's in audio or video, we transcribe and then we ingest it. If you don't have data but you would love to ask people about stuff, then we have the Skimle Ask, which is I don't know, many of you probably came across the Anthropic research where they did 80,000 AI-assisted interviews to the attitudes and use of AI or something.
Yeah, what people use AI for,
exactly.
right?
And Skimle Ask is a tool that you can build your own large-scale surveys. So you define what you want to ask in a high level, and then Skimle Ask will smartly ask follow-up questions, kind of guided by your interview guide. So that's kind of different ways to bring in. We have anonymize. Now.
Yes. Something that academic researchers are really key into and are actually required to do is pseudonymize or anonymize interviews, remove the real names, create consistent aliases across the data set. And we created a AI-driven tool for that also does stuff that you couldn't do ever before, like identify passages that would help de-anonymize the data. So somebody says that like my twin daughters missed their school today, and that in an organization typically not a lot of people have twin daughters. So
so it's like a paranoid anonymizer thing. It really spots those.
It flags them up, and then you can edit them. You can make the judgment.
Exactly. And we were planning it. We were shocked at how many kind of competing anonymizer tools actually just use stuff like, if something is written in a big letter.
In a capital letter, it must be a name. Let's
And we were like, okay, let's do a proper one. So, but that's all the stuff to bring in data.
Yeah.
So, bring your existing stuff, whatever format, transcribe, do ask, anonymize it, and so on. In the system, yes, we run always the core engine that Henry spoke about, which we're most proud of. Once you have that processed data, and it takes a while because it really does the full academic professor, Mr. Schild, Brown, Clark, Goya, whatever method, it goes through and finds and creates that category structure. And then you have full manual control over it. So you see everything in your material coded into categories. So you can recode it and say, I don't think this is part of that. Or you can merge the codes. As consultants, we love editing our issue tree or our communication pyramid principles, all of that. So we having that nuanced control that this is the way I want to lay out the story, and all the insights kind of fold into the new structure, which is cool. Then you can look at the kind of metadata variables. We're still looking for the perfect English name for that, but like, is there a quantitative difference in respondents? Do young versus old bring out different themes? But also, is there a qualitative difference? So do people talk differently about things depending on their background or their any other variable you can come up with? So lots of analysis. We have agentic chat and MCP, as we spoke, so you can edit and discuss with the data either in the app or by connecting it to your own agent, like Cloud Cowork and then so on.
Yeah, so we do PowerPoint exports, and but if you're not happy with our PowerPoints, you want a certain like storyline, you just plug your Cowork Claude into Skimle and say, okay, here is a Skimle project. Check out the category structure. Now I want you to create this type of PowerPoint.
Yeah. And the benefit of that kind of bringing in an MCP agent is that the agent is not having to go through all of your source documents every time like a normal agent would do, but it actually gets access to the same structured knowledge you have. And then if you change, for example, the category structure, the agents see the same changed one. So a team can work together on a set of information. A bit like in coding, you have the GitHub code repository and a team of people working together on that code base. Now the same is possible for documents as well, that you work together on a refined knowledge base, kind of increasing the abstraction level and enabling collaboration and so on.
Yeah.
And then the export. So yes, we do Word, PowerPoint, Excel, even for academic users. And I coded this feature, so I'm most proud of it. Is that you can export it to a format that all the legacy coding tools like NVivo, Atlas TI, MaxQDA, all of those support. So the Refi QDA format. So you can do initial analysis in Skimle. You refine the categories, all of that, and then you just export that into the code book and the coded documents. And it actually opens as coded documents, not just we see some other tools that just open up as an empty file or something. Ours is really coded documents. So it's pretty cool set of features. Right now, do I reveal our internal theme of the month?
You can reveal, it's not...
we are Finnish engineers by training, and so we love the feature. The feature. We love customers.
We've been making so many features, and we are making so many new features.
We have features about making features, and of course, whenever we talk with customers, we talk to them to get the feature ideas, and then we do it. Some people, us included, then start to realize at some point that it's like a hedgehog, that there's so many feature spikes. Where is this soft furry core?
And so we launched a usability month. So we are trying to do everything we can to make the service more usable.
Exactly, and our goal is that, a bit like in Excel, that once you get into Excel, you kind of realize what you can do with it and start to play with it. I don't know, maybe not. I've just used Excel for...
Excel has too many features. We're not going to have as many features, don't worry.
But this somehow, like, how do we make sure that when a customer comes to our website, they get immediately a sense of like, hey, I understand what this tool is. When they sign up, and we have, generous free trials and all, when they sign up, they immediately discover that, hey, this is what I can do, and this is the kind of data I can analyze, and kind of really get into the tool as fast as possible. So we don't just throw the hedgehog at them and say that here's all the different features. But you get some nice furry rodent, like, I don't know.
Hamster?
A rat.
Okay.
A meerkat.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I think that's a good way to start our season. What do you think we'll see on season 2?
Season 2 will be a roller coaster of emotions. We're going to talk about different, I think, aspects of this. So maybe we have episode for some of the use cases and features, but we also might bring in guests.
Yeah, I think
we are in this very cool studio where we have like 4 microphones, One of them, I'm not going to show it, but we use it to hang our studio light. But we have one one left for guest people. So also, if you have any ideas of whom to talk with, just drop us a note. The connection thing will be below the thing, and you can hit the like button, and then
yes, and
or
subscribe.
Subscribe and a viral growth.
Yes,
will go. But if you have ideas you would want to hear about, if you want to be a guest, you have someone who should be a guest in our studio, let us know. I think the whole season ahead of us, so many exciting things to happen. So thank you.
Thanks.
And tune back to Skimlecast episode 2 in a few. No, I'm not going to joke. We're going to do it right after this one. So I'm just going to stop it and then we start recording again. All right. See you.